So yes, there's topic 2 wrapped in a nice neat bow. Moving on to topic 3. I wanted to quickly talk about AEW Elite GM, the mobile game. Aubrey and the team had announced beta testing on Twitter, and they had like a little form you could sign up for it and have the opportunity to try and play. I didn't get in the initial wave, but when FanFest happened on Saturday of Double or Nothing weekend, they released, I think, 6,000 more codes or invited them in. I was part of that, so I was lucky enough to play this game for about a week. Not a whole ton of personal time played. Like, I think I played a lot Sunday, Monday, but then it was kind of hit or miss the rest of the week. It's a fun game, fun experience. I think they're doing a great job with it. There's definitely certain aspects that like are from SmackDown versus Raw 06 through 08 or whenever GM mode was active, which is fine because that's what people want. People wanted those game modes in the 2K games for a while, and now we're getting it obviously from a different company, and it's fun. It's fun. I selfishly wish it wasn't only a mobile game. I wish they'd port this either to PC or to consoles. The phone, it works. It's simplistic in that aspect, but like with the screen being so small, it's like some things I have to like. There's a lot of small text and whatnot to focus on, but overall the experience is a lot of fun. So with the beta, how it works, or at least what we saw, there was a Discord that you can go into and kind of talk about suggestions or problems you were having. I personally never popped in over there. I think it's still active, might sign in over there just to see what people thought and their thoughts that they were sharing. So they had the Discord. They have multiplayer matches that you could play. You could play online, or I think you can play online. I don't know if it was active at the moment. Or you can do, you might be able to do local. I think it's still online. Like, you can't use the same phone. But you can do matches against other people, so you can go head to head, which is neat to do. Other than that, there is solo stuff you can do. So that was mainly my experience with the game, was doing the single player stuff. So they have what's called campaign mode, which is 10 different sessions. And essentially these 10 different sessions are challenges that are essentially teaching you the mechanics of the game. How to set up a show, what's morale, what's the strength, what's the different stats, the money, the fans, etc. That you need to focus on. So there's 3 big things on the top that you need to focus on. You have your money, you have your fans, and then I think it was an average morale that you have for your roster. Each individual has a bunch of stats. They have their energy levels, they had strength, they had speed, they had their morale. I think there was one other thing, but I'm blanking on it. But these are different factors that can affect, obviously, when they're going to get injured, how they're going to perform in matches, how they're going to affect your fan gain, or whatever it is. So those are the things you can kind of focus on in the game that you want to build, whatever it is. So you had that campaign mode, 10 kind of introductory things that you can do. Second, there was a challenge mode, which I didn't experiment with too much, to be honest, but there were different like hypothetical scenarios. So, for example, there's one about Brandon Cutler. Let's make Brandon Cutler the world champion. You get 4 weeks, and you want to see if you can build him up to become world champion. There was one for tag teams, making a great tag team card. There was one for beat this AI with money and fans in 2 weeks. There was a 1-week challenge where just make the best show you can, and like they had certain objectives you wanted to reach. Those were cool to see that they obviously had that variety in gameplay. And then last out of the 3 main ones, there was an endless mode. Now, endless mode was the most intriguing to me. So you have a starting cash value, I think it was 200,000. You have your starting fans, whatever. You take that 200,000 and you get the roster. And you look through and, you get the roster, and then you go from there to make your matches. Speaking of roster, big roster. They had a lot of people, including this game. Excuse me one second. A lot of people in this game. I think they were consistently adding more and more as the week went on. That I personally had time with it, which was cool. So right now I'm going to go through the entire roster, at least that what I had seen as of last night, Friday the 4th, just before they had shut down the beta. So it should be the entire roster from the beta part. Will they add more? Let's see. So, roster. Some of these characters did not have character art. They were just a silhouette. I'll let you guys know who that was at the very end. So, roster. This is in alphabetical. We had 10. Aaron Solo, Adam Page, Alan Angels, Alex Reynolds, Angelico, Anthony Bowens, Austin Gunn, Bear Boulder, Bear Bronson, Big Swole, Billy Gunn, Brandy Rhodes, Brandon Cutler, Brian Cage, Britt Baker, Brody Lee, Cash Wheeler, Chris Jericho, Christian Cage, Chuck Taylor, Cody Rhodes, Colt Cabana, Colton Gunn, Christopher Daniels, Danny Limelight, Dante Martin, Darius Martin, Darby Allin, Dax Hardwood, Diamante, Dustin Rhodes, Eddie Kingston, Emi Sakura, Ethan Page, Evil Uno, Frankie Kazarian, Griff Garrison, Hikaru Shida, Isaiah Cassie, Jack Evans, Jade Cargill, Jake Hagar, Joey Janela, John Silver, John Moxley, Jungle Boy, Kenny Omega, Kip Sabian, Chris Statlander, Lance Archer, Lee Johnson, Leva Bates, Layla Hirsch, Marco Stunt, Mark Quinn, Matt Hardy, Matt Jackson, Matt Seidel, Max Caster, Michael Nakazawa, Miro, Nick Camarado, Nick Jackson, Orange Cassidy, Ortiz, Pac, Penelope Ford, Peter Avalon, QT Marshall, Red Velvet, Ray Phoenix, Ricky Starks, Rio Mizunami, sorry if I mispronounced that, Sammy Guevara, Santana, Scorpio Sky, Serena Deeb, Sean Spears, Sonny Kiss Sting, Stu Grayson, Tay Conti, The Blade, The Butcher, Trent Wardlow, Will Hobbs, and Yuka Sakazaki. A lot of people, as you can tell, a lot of people. Not all those people I recognized from earlier when I played in the week. Like I said, they kept adding people, so that was cool. They had a handful that did not have art for their characters. Ryo Miyazanami did not have art. Aaron Solo, Alex Reynolds, Angelico, Austin Gunn, Billy Gunn, Christian Cage, Christopher Daniels, Diamante, Emi Sakura, Ethan Page, Griff Garrison, Jack Evans, Jade Cargill, John Silver, Kip Sabian, Lance Archer, Michael Nakazawa, Miro, Nick Camarado, and QT Marshall. So, big ass roster. So you get all of them to pick from for your endless run. So you get your 200K. So with my gameplay, how I was trying to tackle things, you get 3 matches. So unlike SmackDown versus Raw, where you have, if it's Raw, for example, you get the 6 matches and the 2 promo spots. In this game, you would get 3 matches and 1 promo spot that you use. What I was trying to do, or what I aim to do when I would always start with my starting roster, is I would get 2 ladies, 2 tag teams, 2 singles. From there, based on the cash that I had, you need certain cash for matches. So, single matches were 10K, tag team matches were 20K. That's what I can remember off the top of my head. They had singles, tag team, 3v3, fatal 4-way, 2v2v2. I think there was a 4v4 and there was a 5v5. No triple threats. No managers. No 6-man. Well, actually, 6-man might have been on there. I might have lied. Yeah. There has to be an even amount. The way the animations go and how they interact has to be an even number. So the way I would organize it would be, like I said, 2 ladies, 2 tag teams, 2 guys. So go from there, dude. Week 1, just organize it. Promo wise, there was a bunch of different ones. There was one like hospitality, which would increase stats. There was like an on-stage promo. There was a backstage pull apart. A whole bunch of options there that would either increase fans or increase the stats of your roster, morale, etc., etc. So you'd organize it by that. Then from there, you get your money, you get your fans, you can see those stats going up and down. As you continue, you can build your roster, obviously, with the money you do have, or do more fancy matches. I did not see, personally, maybe I missed it, I did not see, like, specialty matches. I didn't see Steel Cage. I didn't see Ladder. Didn't see, not War Games, whatever they're calling. I can't remember the double cage, whatever they called that. Blood and Guts. Didn't see Stadium Stampede. That would be an interesting one to see. Didn't see any of those. So had the matches worked out. You pretty much drag and drop from your roster who you want in there. Very, very simple. It would show you a likely winner for the match. So you could obviously either play that game of like, oh, I want to push Lance Archer, for example. Maybe I don't match him against X. I have to match him against Y. If you wanted to add to their stats to try and help them win, whether they were on the negative side or they're still likely to win, you could add gimmicks, is what they call it. So you had 4 choices from what I saw, at least at the time. You had a chair, you had a barbed wire bat, you had a car, and then you had, I think it was a kendo stick. You could give those to one of the characters or both and throw that in there, and obviously that would increase the value of the match too, just because of the gimmicks involved. So you'd go from there. Like I said, you keep adding to your roster, switch it in, whatever. The one flaw I personally saw with Endless Mode is it was just me. There was no computer to go against, which is kind of the whole point of single player, is like, I want some kind of challenge. So the CPU, like, I don't want to go online PvP and have to wait for the person, or maybe connection doesn't work, or I don't know if there's text chat or whatever, but like deal with toxic people. I just want to play the game, want to enjoy it. So if there's not that challenge of the computer, it's like, what's the point? I'm just dragging things here randomly. Ooh, I get to see numbers go up. That's great, but if the numbers don't mean anything because don't have that challenge, it's like, what's the point? So yeah, I think Endless Mode is where I'm going to spend a lot of my time if they add the opposite computer to kind of compete against, if that makes sense. In the challenge mode and in the campaign, those 10 missions, there was a computer that you would go against. I remember one of the later campaigns, it was either 9 or 10. It was 4 weeks, and you have 3 objectives. 250,000 fans. No, 250,000 total money left over by week 4. Like 1.5 million fans, and the morale average has to be like 70. I don't fucking remember. But you had to meet those. That was fun. Was the computer super challenging? No. And also, you didn't get to see what show they put on. Like, what were their high points, what were their low points. So making the matches part all fun. I thought everybody in the roster had fair income amounts that I never felt like, oh, this is egregious. It's just one flat rate. It's not like SmackDown versus Raw where it's like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year contract. And granted, this is all the beta, so I don't know if, obviously with the official release, whenever that is, if these things will be enhanced. This is probably just maybe a technical beta of like making sure things run, how do people play, what's good, what's bad, etc. So yeah, there's that. They did mention in like the intro, or I don't know if it was the email at the start, that they are planning on having both shows. So there will be Dynamite and there will be Dark. So I don't know if like those would be the shows competing against each other. Like one person runs Dynamite, one person runs Dark, and those go head to head. That could be the case. So there's that. Another thing I noticed with the campaign part, I wasn't limited on roster. So, for example, like in the SmackDown vs. Raws, you would do the draft, right? And you could either do it, one person picks everybody, I think, or the, like, scattered style. I don't fucking know. There was no draft. So, like, you weren't like, oh, I'm planning on grabbing Moxley. And I grabbed Kenny Omega this round. And then, oh, Moxley's gone because the computer picked him. There wasn't ever that, like, threatening aspect of like, shit, there goes my plan, now I gotta rewrite everything once again. It was probably more of a technical beta, making sure everything runs, but that wasn't there at the moment. So Hopefully that gets implemented of just like the draft process, and then it's a little bit more competitive there, and then you can get the whole trades. Who's to say? I don't know what they're planning on adding, obviously, or what their future plans are, but I can just share what I obviously saw. Yeah, there are. I think there was ranked leagues. I think I saw that at a bar that was locked at the moment. There's profile leveling up, which you can fully customize your avatar for online. You pick a wrestler from the roster, and then you can add like headgear, different gimmicks that they're holding on to. So there's that fun little aspect to it. You can also unlock things to use in your matches, I believe, for gimmicks. Like I had one I randomly unlocked was a milk carton. I don't know why, but that was there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this game evolves from this point. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. I did notice I don't know if it's just my phone, but my phone's battery drained quite fast while playing it, so I wasn't able to play super, super long at one point unless I was plugged in. Does generate a lot of heat as well, but most mobile games do, unfortunately, just because it's a lot of processing power. I did have a couple of crashes while things were going on, whether it's loading or just getting stuck in a menu. Other than that, not much. Usually a restart of the app helped. I did mention some of the characters not having character art. I'm not sure if this was on purpose because either the art wasn't released yet or whatever it was, or if it was a bug there. So certain characters, for example, I mentioned my method of like 2 ladies, 2 guys, and the 2 tag teams. I kind of messed around with different like roster members that I would grab. There would be a couple times where I would pick roster members, for example, Luther from what's the group's name? Chaos Project. I would grab him, put him with Serpentico. Serpentico's art was not released at the time, but Luther's was, and I would have them in the match, but Luther would still appear the silhouette, so bugs happen, whatever, not that big a deal. Something that I was surprised about is like people I expected to win or they said was likely to win, the other team would win. So there is still that random element in there, which is fun. If you really want to sway it, once again, use the gimmicks. That will definitely help you out. But there's that. It does give you a performance per match too, which is a nice way to kind of, see how things are, see how your matchmaking is, whether it's the talent themselves or maybe the order. Like I had a lot of tag team matches that were like dominating the night with fan gain and money gain. So that's a fun little thing you can kind of mess around with. I wonder if in the full release they'll have more than 3 matches at a time, especially when your roster does get bigger. Like you just don't want to throw 6-mans all the time, like having more matches to kind of build. And I also wonder if they're going to do, similar to SmackDown versus Raw, the storyline angle, whether it's setting it up manually, like the generic storyline of X hates Y because blah. This is their rivalry for however many weeks you can make it work, and then it gets stale. I wonder if they're going to do that or if it's just have fun, throw people in there. I want them to add these things. Like, I don't want it to just be a carbon copy of SmackDown versus Raw's GM mode. I want them to add their own flair to it, and I think the gimmicks help that. I think the different in-between segments help that. The presentation's simple with them fighting against each other. That's fine. It's quick, easy. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like I said, what they add, what they modify, when official release is. I don't know if they've actually announced an official release as of recording this. Hopefully soonish. Like I said, everything for the most part ran well. Couple crashes here and there, but it seems like, the nuts and bolts are there. So hopefully they can make it work. Hopefully there's a port for PC and console and play. I doubt it. That's just a high wish for me, but it was a good time. If you guys have the chance, if you're interested at all, if you have the chance to get it, I mean, it's a free game. Just download it, give it a shot. If you like it, great. If not, at least there's something to give a shot and give a try to, and at least they put their effort into it. So there's that. But yeah, it was a good time playing Elite GM. I appreciate the beta code provided and the invite. It was a blast, and looking forward to the full product. Well, guys, this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, a.k.a. Enigma9011. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching today. If you want to catch it live, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. What's live over there, you can join in the chat if you're a subscriber over there. We'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. And go over to YouTube and SoundCloud the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. And last but not least, #ad merch store and get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. It would be greatly appreciated. So yes, another episode in the books. I appreciate you guys hanging out for another wrestling talk. Let me know what your thoughts are on the releases, the pay-per-view, and the game if you got a chance to play it and get your hands on it. But yes, we will appreciate you guys watching and listening. We will see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.